Hi, and welcome to the Washington Student Achievement Council's WSAC portal training on interim reporting. Institutions are required to submit Washington College Grant, College-Bound Scholars, and Passport to Career student detail reports. This performs eligibility checks on student data and awards. Also, data is used for program evaluation, to forecast funding costs, and to inform the legislature of program progress. So currently, interim reports are submitted quarterly in the portal via Seesaw. The interim report opens for 4 weeks before the interim report due date. Here below shows the interim due dates for the 1920 academic year. These are also located in the program manual, so you will be able to check that for future terms as well. The final interim report in July also serves as a reconciliation report. This is where any of the unused funds or funds owed back to WSAC must be returned via a check. So interim reporting really has 4 steps. The 5th step is only needed when in July for the reconciliation process. So the 4 main steps that you will do for every interim reporting is uploading your file into Seesaw, resolving edits, reviewing students and requesting their funds, and then finally submitting the interim reports. And then we'll also go over reconciliation in July, where you need to find out if you owe any funds back to WSAC or if you have remaining funds to go ahead and award more students. First step is to upload your file into Seesaw. And please remember that this report will always overwrite any existing data that you had in the system prior. Meaning, if you upload a file that has less students on it than it originally did, the portal will think that you are deleting those students that are no longer on your list. So please make sure that every time you do a load, you do a full load of all your students' information. All right, so you're going to upload your file into Seesaw. The file layout requirements are outlined in Chapter 4 of the program manual. The layout did not change for the 1920 year, so please continue to use it as it is. But it is being updated for the 2021 year, and you will be getting notification regarding those changes shortly. There's a file template available at https://wasac.wa.gov/FAA resources. For detailed instructions, you can go to the webinar titled Uploading to Seesaw. Again, each upload must be a full file and will replace earlier versions. I can't stress this enough. Reporting data for 5 terms. There's summer 1, fall, winter, semester schools may leave this one blank, spring, and summer 2. The majority of the schools will only have 1 summer term, not 2. That is usually the schools that have summer 1 and 2 are usually those with clock hour programs. Specific edits listed within the subgroups will be one of the 3 types. Non-overwritable edit. This is where the data must be corrected and cannot be overwritten. Correcting the data will often clear the edit. For more information, you can see Chapter 4 of the program manual. Overwritable edits. These are edits that can be overridden when you cannot change the data to correct it. You will be provided with a few canned overrides to choose from, or you can type in your own if none of the canned overrides fits your circumstance. Last, there are informational edits. These are just important student notifications, such as students being close to using up all of their QER. Here is an example of what the edit screen looks like. As you can see, this institution, they have 64 edits that need to be addressed. There's 929 informational edits on here that do not need addressing. The institution is able to click on the CSV file if they want to download all of their edits to review. The CBS edits here are showing 2 of them are informational types. The CBS student has 3 or less QER, is informational, therefore no changes need to be made to those students. Student is okay to pay but hasn't been awarded CBS. You can see that this one is overwritable and there's 9 students that need to be corrected. So in this case, you would either go in and award the student, or if the student is declining aid or their need is met, you can overwrite it using one of those 2 canned responses. Please note that a CBS student can never be reported as unserved because it is an entitlement program. So below, under general edits, you'll see such things as enrollment status cannot be not enrolled unless all the awards have been canceled. And I highlighted here the combined enrollment status cannot exceed full-time for a single term. Now this one is overwritable. This one comes up quite a bit, and where we would like you to work with the other institution to be sure that the student is actually only enrolled at one institution. There are some times that the student can be enrolled at both, but then you need to work together to make sure that their awards are combined. So to help resolve edits, there are reports in the system. So that last instance where we mentioned the dual enrolled, there is actually a dual enrolled report that will bring up all of your students to show you who are enrolled at other institutions and how many other credits they're taking and who the other institution is. So this can be very helpful when resolving edits. So these reports can be used to help easily identify potential problems and manage your data. So this is available to you in the portal, Seesaw Reports. So the third step of the interim reporting process is to review students and to request the funds. So review your served and unserved students, award any student you may have missed or now have funds available for, and request payments for current or past terms through Seesaw. We want to make sure that you do get those payments requested on time. Unserved Washington College Grant students. Before I mentioned that college-bound students cannot be reported as unserved because it is an entitlement program, which is also going to be the case starting in 2020 when Washington College Grant becomes an entitlement program. So starting 2020, you will no longer need to worry about the unserved students. However, for academic year 2019, it is still necessary to continue to accurately and fully report unserved WCG students. So we're going to go ahead and go over those. And unserved students are those who are fully eligible to receive the Washington College Grant up to the 70% MFI level and are enrolled, but cannot be awarded due to lack of funding. So that should pretty much be the only reason a student is unserved, because the institution does not have any funds to provide that student. Summer enrollees should be included as unserved even if it is the institution's policy not to award other aid for summer. However, in 2020, you will be required to award your students WCG and CBS for the summer terms. Unserved students should be reported at their attempted, not their completed enrollment level. And enrolled WCG eligible students that are anticipated to be unserved for future terms should be reported as unserved on the interim report for all those future terms. These need to be updated if a student actual enrollment changes in the future interim reports. So how do you determine if a student is served or unserved? Again, a student is considered unserved if they meet all the eligibility requirements at time of awarding, but there are no funds available to offer the student. Here are some examples why a student should not be reported as unserved. So these reasons do not justify being unserved. Having an incomplete file, not enrolled. They withdrew with full refund of tuition. They were in an ineligible program or ineligible coursework for the term. Their need was met with other grants and/or scholarships. They didn't meet SAP. The MFI increased. The student declined aid. The student graduated. Their residency status is still pending, or they are not a Washington resident. So in these examples, you should not report the students unserved. You should just not report them on your interim report at all. Do not award them in Seesaw. So here is an example of our Unserved Awards report. It will help you determine which students have either one or more terms as unserved. So you'll want to check these to make sure that they are actually legitimately unserved students. If not, you can click on the student name and update their enrollment status or update their edits. You'll also want to view your data trends before you submit the interim report to ensure that your data is accurate. On the left-hand side, there is a little menu of options that you can look at. In this instance, I'm highlighting the unserved students. So you can compare the number of your unserved students from past years for the same term. So if you notice on this one, for 1920, the fall unserved students being reported is 1360. Now this is a great reduction from the 1819, which was 3005. So in this case, we would want you to review your records and make sure that your unserved counts are correct, because there is such a large discrepancy between the two. Actually, 3 years, 2017-18 was also quite high with the unserved. On the account status page, you can download all of your transactions of payments, your allocations, supplementals, and such by clicking on the CSV file. You can sort all of your financial information by date processed, and you'll want to take a look at how much you've actually spent versus how much you have allocated, and be sure that you are on point to be spending your entire allotment by the end of the year. So once you've reviewed all of your data and you're ready to submit your report, you're going to go into the Interim Report tab, and it will bring you up a summary of your funds for your Washington College grant and CBS. Please note it does not show your passport to college totals here. If you're ready to submit your report, you would be able to click down at the bottom on Submit Interim Report. But as you can see, that is grayed out and you are unable to. So if you look at the top portion where it's circled, it does let you know that the interim report cannot be submitted because you have some edits you need to address. So in this instance, if you click on Address Edits, it will bring you back into the edit screen where you can go ahead and address all of your edits. After you've gone through, corrected all your edits once again, you won't see the error message anymore. So please review your expenditures to make sure that they do look correct. And if you're sure that they do look correct, go ahead and click Submit Interim Report. All right, so once you submitted your report, you're going to receive a confirmation email. And this is what it's going to look like. It's going to give you all that same financial data that was shown on the screen before you submitted. You will receive this after you submit your report, but please be sure to continue to monitor your emails because your reports may be reverted. This does not mean that it's been accepted. So if we do need to revert your email, you'll receive another email asking you to please go back in and correct some of the data. And usually you will receive a little note about what data needs to be completed or corrected, or you may be directed back to the student record to review the edit data history. All right, so now we're going to move on to the reconciliation, which is the July interim report. So prior to submitting your interim report in the previous steps that we showed, you need to convert all of your institution to bill students' accounts to in repayment accounts. The summer students cannot be reported as institution to bill. Those should be automatically reported as in repayment. Then you're going to check to see if you owe any funds back to WSAC. Now, prior to submitting a report on the final reconciliation, it is going to ask you that you're acknowledging that you will be returning funds back to WSAC. Please keep in mind that the funds that you're returning to WSAC through the interim report are separate from the funds owed for late reported receivables. Okay, so on this form, you'll be able to see the amount that you owe back for WCG and CBS funds. Below, I've circled the funds owed to WSAC, and you can see here that this institution owes back $1,275 for their CBS students. This form will, however, not show you the Passport to College monies owed back. You will be receiving an email with amounts for each of the programs, including Passport to College, that you will be needing to return back to WSAC. The Passport to College funds will be the student funds and also the incentive funds if you owe those back. You can see that this person still can't submit their interim report for the following reason, is because you still need to convert all of your ITBs, your institution to bills, to in repayments, or if they don't owe funds anymore, cancel those ITBs or in repayments. So when you're returning funds back to WSAC, the funds should be returned in the form of a check. Please be sure to alert your business office and our accounting office, as the funds will be booked. The following information needs to be included with your payment. You need to include the student name, the last 4 digits of the Social Security number, the term that the payment is being returned for, and the name of the program. Checks should be mailed to the Washington Student Achievement Council, P.O. Box 43430, Olympia, Washington 98504, 3430. If you have any further questions on interim reporting or reconciliation, please give us a call at 1-888-535-0747, dial option number 3, or email us at wcg@wasac.wa.gov. Thank you very much.